Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving into a hot topic that's stirring up plenty of debate in South Africa, the size of President Cyril Ramaphosa's executive and the controversy surrounding his recent decision to appoint a large number of deputy ministers. If you've been following local politics, you'll know this issue is heating up, especially with elections on the horizon. So stick around as we unpack what's really going on behind the scenes, what the critics are saying, and how the president is defending his move. Now, to set the stage, President Cyril Ramaphosa recently made headlines by appointing 32 deputy ministers as part of his executive. That's right, 32. And this move has sparked serious backlash from across the political spectrum. Critics, civil society organizations, and even everyday South Africans have accused Ramaphosa of creating a bloated government structure, one that's more about political patronage than actual governance. Speaking at a press conference held at the Union Buildings, Ramaphosa came out strongly in defense of his decision. He argued that the size and composition of his cabinet are based on the need for effective governance. According to him, the country's complex challenges, from economic stagnation to service delivery failures, require a more robust, hands-on executive. The president stressed that deputy ministers aren't just ceremonial figures, they provide crucial administrative support, ensure continuity in government departments, and help ministers manage the heavy demands of their roles. Ramaphosa acknowledged the public's frustration around costs and the perception of government excess. But he insisted that these appointments are strategic. In his words, deputy ministers play an essential role in maintaining continuity, ensuring oversight, and assisting ministers with the immense responsibilities they carry. He went on to explain that a collaborative governance model, with sufficient capacity, is needed to respond to the urgent needs of the country, especially as South Africa continues to recover from economic downturns, unemployment, and crumbling service delivery systems. But not everyone is buying this explanation. The Democratic Alliance, South Africa's official opposition, came out swinging. DA leader John Steenhuisen labeled the appointments a clear example of wasteful expenditure, arguing that the country simply cannot afford a bloated executive. Steenhuisen highlighted how millions of South Africans are struggling with poverty, unemployment, and poor service delivery, yet government spending on top-level officials keeps increasing. The economic freedom fighters echoed similar concerns. The EFF has long called for a leaner, more efficient government structure. They argued that the current setup is less about serving the people and more about appeasing internal ANC factions ahead of the elections. In fact, many critics have suggested that Ramaphosa's executive appointments are aimed at keeping various ANC power blocs happy, especially as the party faces internal divisions and declining public support. So, what are the numbers we're dealing with here? Ramaphosa's latest appointments bring the number of deputy ministers to 32, an unusually high figure for a country grappling with fiscal constraints. And that's on top of the existing cabinet ministers and their departments. The optics, especially in an election year, are not great. South Africans are being asked to tighten their belts, while the executive branch seems to be expanding. Political analysts have noted that the president may be walking a tightrope. On one hand, he needs to maintain unity within the ANC, especially as factions continue to challenge his leadership. On the other hand, he has to answer to the public, many of whom are deeply frustrated with corruption, inefficiency, and rising cost of living. It's a delicate balancing act, and the backlash over these appointments may prove to be one of the defining issues heading into the upcoming elections. Interestingly, Ramaphosa insists that these deputy ministers are not simply there to make up the numbers. According to him, they handle key portfolios, represent ministers in parliament, and ensure that national policies are implemented effectively at the provincial level. He maintains that the goal is not to inflate government, but to rebuild trust and improve service delivery across all levels of society. But the public debate is only getting louder. Civil society groups, think tanks, and even some within the ruling party are questioning whether such a large executive is sustainable. With rising debt levels, failing municipalities, and a health sector on the verge of collapse in many provinces, many South Africans feel the money could be better spent elsewhere. Will Ramaphosa's strategy pay off? That remains to be seen. What's clear is that the decision to appoint 32 deputy ministers has become a flashpoint issue, one that could influence voter sentiment as the elections draw near. The president is gambling that a broader executive will translate into more effective governance, but critics argue it's a classic case of too many hands in the cookie jar and not enough accountability. As always, we'll be keeping a close eye on developments around this story and what it means for South Africa's political landscape. Do you think the president's decision is justified? Or is this just another example of political excess at the expense of ordinary citizens? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth political commentary, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.